On March 29, 2017, the UK triggered Article 50 of the Treaty on the European Union, which means Britain is officially withdrawing. With the withdrawal, there have been several concerns raised with respect to cyber and what this could mean for collaboration between the United Kingdom and the European Union. As our systems and lives become more digital, cybersecurity and transnational crimes became a very real concern. From identity to banking systems, everything we do leaves a digital fingerprint. Let's discuss how Brexit may impact the world and the United Kingdom from a digital lens. At a global level, the United Kingdom is a G7 country with exclusive memberships to several different international organizations. Let's use Canada as an example. Will Brexit have an impact on a third-party country like Canada? Britain and Canada are a part of the Five Eyes network and close allies. There is constant and continuous intelligence sharing between the countries and a historical relationship as a Commonwealth nation. I don't believe much will change because of Brexit. There are uncertainties, there may be periods of adjustment, but overall, no real significant changes. However, the United Kingdom's relationship with the European Union will most likely be impacted as new agreements will have to be drawn. There may be a lack of expertise, especially in cybersecurity related fields, and we can't discount the cultural and human elements. A breakup in any context always hurts, and this will be no different. Now, this can all be managed and mitigated against, but will take time, and in the world of cybercrime, time is not on your side, given you're always playing catch up with the bad actors. It is important to dig a bit deeper into how cybercrime related investigations may be impacted. Crime has no borders, and cooperation is essential. It is safe to assume that such international cooperation with respect to transnational crime will occur. This is a two-way street where both parties win. There are established relationships, protocols, and mechanisms in place to facilitate sharing, along with several intelligence, military, and policing liaison positions. However, new information sharing agreements will need to be drawn, and I suspect there will be additional layers of bureaucracy and red tape that will slow down the process. In September of 2018, the chair of the National Police Chiefs Council stated in an interview the following: existing EU tools allow us to respond quickly and intelligently to crime and terrorism in the UK and the EU. They make us better at protecting the public. The alternatives we are planning to use, where they exist, are without exception slower, more bureaucratic, and ultimately less effective. Now, it is likely that in the beginning there may be hiccups, but overall everything will work out. However, it is that gap which is a concern if it is not appropriately mitigated against. I break these areas into three distinct components: people, process, and technology. The people aspect, a shortage of experts. The process aspect, increased red tape. And the technology aspect, reduced collaboration on the development of sophisticated cyber tools that aid in the investigation and prevention of crime in the first place. This may be a setback for the UK and the EU, not to mention the global war on crime. The war on cybercrime will be one to watch and see. Another interesting area will be around digital data management and digital sovereignty. Data is the new oil, which makes it valuable. What approach will be most effective, and what might the UK do? One can only speculate, but there are a few scenarios. It will be business as usual, or they may decide to take a strict protectionist approach to data. For example, in Russia, a law was passed stating all data on their citizens must be housed within the physical borders of Russia. The UK has physical sovereignty via land borders, but what method will they take on data and virtual borders? Will it be acceptable to house citizen and corporate data outside of the UK, or will organizations be mandated to house it within? There is also the opposite, where the EU may regulate that data on their citizens cannot leave the EU. This can become extremely disruptive and have an economic impact on businesses in both the UK and the EU. We don't know enough about this, and the area is constantly evolving. However, in a post-COVID-19 world, our lives inevitably become more digital. Where the data is housed will be a major topic of discussion. If there are digital regulations, then companies, citizens, and governments will need to adapt. We have seen over the years many countries starting to take a strict protectionist approach, citing national security concerns. We have seen countries demand popular platforms turn over citizen data, in some cases even demanding ubiquitous access. This has led to an erosion of privacy and a potential violation of human rights. It has also created a multi-tiered internet. In fact, do we even have an internet, or is it a collection of intranets? Will Brexit create virtual borders limiting outside access? Well, only time will tell. I believe there is a balancing act, and in most cases between having open, unfeathered access to a reasonable approach that balances privacy with public safety. They aren't mutually exclusive and can both be achieved in a reasonable way. However, that shouldn't mean going against the fundamental principles of the internet, which is open, safe, and a place for every individual on the planet to transact something of value, which could be making meaningful relationships to acquiring new knowledge. There is always a fear that during times of major change, which Brexit is one, that one party will take a stance that is skewed towards taking a cautious approach. If this is the case, then rest assured citizens will find a way to circumvent the system. For example, the Great Firewall of China, a digital fortress that has excluded popular Western apps and search engines from operating within their physical borders. These apps are supposed to be inaccessible to their local population. However, with the use of encryption and virtual private networks, these rules are easily bypassed. It may be that citizens have been censored and have an important message to share with the world, or it could be something as simple as wanting to stream a particular show from another country. The point I'm trying to make is that even in a surveillance state, it is possible to circumvent. So the only answer should be to create policies based on trust. Fear that either the EU or the UK may limit or restrict certain internet protocol addresses from accessing parts of their internal internet. I really hope that this doesn't happen. Now, building country-specific policies aren't new. We are seeing this play out with the building of fifth-generation networks, 5G, around the world. Different countries are setting policies on whether or not to use certain technology, or Chinese companies such as Huawei to build the infrastructure for 5G. This is an interesting case, especially because of pressure from other countries like the US. The UK has stated that they will allow for Huawei to build a portion of their network, which is now under review as a scheduled vote in Parliament is due to pushback from MPs citing China's handling of COVID-19 and general distrust that potential backdoors may be planted. This struggle highlights the complexity of technology and different countries taking different approaches. It will be interesting to see what the outcome post-Brexit will be and how other EU countries will react. Finally, I want to briefly finish off by saying that there is strength in numbers. When nations work together to solve complex challenges, Brexit may bring a lot of uncertainty and even anxiety, but cooperation will be critical. Crime has no borders. Additional red tape slows down processes, and there is a global shortage of cybersecurity professionals. Nobody has a monopoly on knowledge, and I truly believe there is more good than evil. Overall, the UK is resilient, and these issues will eventually be solved as long as a framework that places people before process and technology is adapted. Then everything will be okay. If not, then there may be bigger challenges that lay ahead.